Hi, Debbie.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing nicely. How are you today?
Good. I'm good, except you all get to see my disgusting RV.
It looks lovely.
It's fun. It's functional. It's all out here, but it's functional.
Oh, and I see a doggo in the background.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the kitchen. Here's the couch. So, if you don't have a dog on the couch, who are you? Just trying to get all my stuff out. Hi, Bronwyn.
Hey, hi Debbie. Sorry, I've been MIA. Just dealing with a lot of stuff, but everything's good.
Okay, you know to call us if you need help with anything, right?
I forgot, but I just remembered now that you mentioned it. Thank you.
Oh, they're always here for you, baby doll.
I know that. Thank you so much.
Of course. Let me see. Oh, there's Kimmie.
Hey, Kimmie.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Good. What's going on? Are you cooking today, Bronwyn, or no?
No, I'm barely here. This has been a past couple of months. I've given my notice at my job for April 15th.
Wow.
I took the pin out of stalling my sleep cross taper. So I'm doing that, and insomnia are us. So I've just not even really tried to do a food freedom. I'm just like,
You're hanging on.
I'm hanging on. Yes, that's what I can do sometimes, and that's admirable.
Sometimes that's all you can do is just keep your head above water.
Yes.
You've got a good foundation. You can always return to it. So that's all good.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
I know Jamma is going to do it, but she had to work. So she said she's going to have to catch it in the replay. Ooh, hang on.
She emailed me. I just saw the email that came through.
Okay.
So yes. And then I feel like there was some others that would be joining, but maybe we'll just give them a couple more minutes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So are you cooking today, Debbie, or?
I am cooking. I am no longer plant-based, right. But my neighbor is going through chemo and going to make a dinner for her because I just turned my leftover picadillo into shepherd's pie.
Oh.
And then I'm going to make her some caldo verde.
Nice.
Like a meat. But I thought, what better time to do it than with friends?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, so Bronwyn, we're gonna be, I don't know if you have the if we posted the menu or not. Do you have
I
that?
don't have it. So Debbie, if it's posted, I'll get it afterwards.
Yeah. I'll kind of run through what we're gonna do today. So
Thank you.
It's plant-based, Whole30, right? So we're gonna be doing a chia seed pudding, and that would be like for a breakfast or snack option. And then for dinners, we have some lettuce wrapped black bean burgers that we're gonna make some homemade black bean burgers with sweet potato fries. Then our next meal is a lentil soup with like carrots and onions and lentils and diced tomatoes. It's really yummy. Bunch of spices. Then we're gonna do anytime hash with Italian tempeh, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's basically like fermented soybeans. It's a protein source for vegetarian or whoever wants to use it, right? And then we're having some almond butter tofu stir fry. So we're having it that is like with green beans and peppers and good stuff. So
and Ron, remember that with all these things, you can always just you can throw some chicken or you can throw any protein on top of those.
I was just joking before, but yeah, no, I can't get enough about how to cook vegetables. So thank you. And I'll be coming in with comments through it. I've already got one, but I'll wait. I'll have some mercy, Kimmie, and hold off on my questions.
Yeah, and these are good dishes too that, you know, like let's say that your family's not cool with plant-based and you could make, you know, a regular burger for them and they could still eat the vegetables and or they could have the burger, the black bean burgers and a regular burger. Or like with the lentil soup, they could throw in some, you know, rotisserie chicken or some sausages or whatever. So there's ways if you're going plant-based for your family still to eat the food that you're eating, but just, you know, separately fix them, they're separate and add their protein separately.
Thank you.
So that's an idea as well. All right, well, we're just gonna get started and yeah. So I went ahead and preheated my oven because I want to get the tofu going. We're actually gonna make the chia seed pudding first, but we are going to be baking the tofu to kind of dry it out first because tofu is a little finicky and it has a lot of water. So I pressed my tofu. The tofu, it comes in a big block. I slice it in half and then I get some towels and I press down and get a lot of the moisture out of the actual tofu before I cut it. And then I just have little cubes. I'm gonna pop it in the oven and let this bake at 350 for about 20 minutes. So set the timer. And then once that's done, then we'll have to like make the marinade and we're gonna make that dish later. But we're just gonna let it kind of bake in there for a second, okay? All right, so the chia seed pudding, this is something that you can kind of meal prep and you can make several servings at a time. This is something you also can add and make your own flavor profile. I just had a cup of coconut milk or unsweetened almond milk as the base, but you could, you know, use whatever you prefer. And then also you can change out I use strawberries, but you could use blueberries or, you know, you could add walnuts or whatever it may be. So you could add cinnamon. You kind of can play around with this and have fun with it. So let's get out the chia seeds. I'll show you. I usually just use a mason jar and you're going to put, and this will make a couple servings. So it says a third of a cup, but I'm not going to probably use all the third of a cup. And then you're going to get your almond milk out and your berries. And if you want to measure, you can. Just make sure. So these chia seeds will really expand. If you start to notice that your chia seeds are getting big and needs a little extra liquid, you can absolutely open it up the next morning and add some more liquid in. So I'm just going to stir and try to get all of these chia seeds, and I'll pull down this just so you can make sure that none of them are like stuck to the side of the glass and they're all submerged into your whatever milk you're going to be using. All right. Then if you have some vanilla extract and want to add that, we're going to add about a teaspoon of that.
Kimmie, what brand do you like?
This is Trader Joe's.
Oh, okay, good.
This is actually organic pure bourbon vanilla extract. Probably not Whole30 approved, but this is all I had in my
Oh, okay, thank you.
in my pantry. So vanilla extract, and I add a little salt, just like a little pinch of salt, and give that a stir. And then here's where you can add your berries. If you have protein powder that is plant-based and Whole30 approved, unsweetened, you can add that as well, extra source of protein. So 3 tablespoons of these chia seeds provide 6 grams of protein. So it's a good source of protein, a good high protein breakfast. All right, So you're gonna get your berries or whatever fruit you want to use. I suggested strawberries, and you're just gonna go ahead and dice these and throw them in to your right into your chia seed pudding. So this is gonna just sit overnight, and you can add extra almond milk or coconut milk or whatever in the morning if you need some extra liquid. But yeah, you can make as many of servings as you like. I probably would do maybe like 3 at the most, 3 or 4, if you're gonna go a couple days out. And then we're just gonna set it to the side and forget about it. If you want a little bit more sweetness, because there's not a lot of sweetener in here, right? So you can kind of muddle a strawberry and kind of get the sweetness from the strawberry if it's super ripe. But that strawberry and the whatever other berries you're using kind of will release some of the sweetness overnight into the pudding itself. Okay, then we're just gonna sit it in the refrigerator and forget about it, okay? So if you want to, if you taste that, like let's say tomorrow you have that for breakfast and you taste it and you're like, I think I'd rather like have apple cinnamon, or, like you can get creative with that. So it doesn't all have to be, strawberry. Vanilla. Okay, all right, so we're gonna sit that to the side, and now we're going to get into our dinners, and we're gonna go in order. So we're gonna start with our black bean burgers and our sweet potato fries. So I'm gonna ask you to get all of your ingredients out for your black bean burgers. I'm gonna go through them in just a second. You need your black beans, obviously, and you need your green onions or scallions, whatever you wanna call them. And I forgot my cutting board out. Okay, so black beans, green onions, lime, cumin, garlic powder. My cumin out. Let's see, ground flaxseed, which is super important because this is what's gonna bind our burgers together. Handful of cilantro, salt, pepper, chili flakes, optional, and barbecue sauce, vegan, optional. That would be a topping, so we don't need it right now. All right, let me get my cilantro and then we'll be good to go. So you're going to, where are you, cilantro? Oh, yes, already got it out. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and get all the beans into a big bowl. And if you have a potato, like a masher, go ahead and get that out. I do not, so I'm gonna use the back of the spoon, and I'm gonna point my camera down so you can see what I'm doing. You want to mash about half of these. And, okay, Debbie, I was making sure you were actually recording this. All right. So you want to make sure you leave some of the beans whole, but you get about half of these smashed in.
Looks like quite a workout.
It is. Good thing I didn't do an upper body workout today. And I'm actually bending my spoon. A little stronger than I thought I was. Okay, so that's good. Let me bend it back. All right, now this is so easy. We're just gonna toss in all the ingredients that I called out. So I'm gonna go really slow. We're gonna need 4 green onions. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna give those a quick rinse.
So you are going really super fast here.
Oh, are you doing this with me?
Yes, I'm trying to.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna slow down. What part are you at? I didn't even know that you were there, Melissa.
I was waiting to get let in, and then I got let in, but I was like, okay, I forgot to do some prep.
Gosh, okay. I didn't even know that anyone else was there. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? I'm not on video because I'm moving in and out of frame.
That's okay. That's all right. Okay, so where are you? What point are you
Right
right
now
now?
I'm at the point where I have my green onions out, but they're not chopped up.
Okay, I haven't chopped mine either, so I'll chop them with you, okay? Yeah, and if I'm going too fast or you need to ask me a question, just pop in, unmute yourself, and ask away, okay?
I got my carrots cut up, my potatoes cut up, my sweet potatoes cut up.
Awesome.
I didn't have the beans wet.
That's okay.
First, I'll give you a bit of warning, Kimmie. The reason I'm doing this course is because I'm very, very, very slow at anything. And I'm hoping you're going to show me ways of speeding up.
Well, it definitely, yeah, I have a tendency to go fast, but this is what I do for a living, so I'll definitely slow down and make sure that I'm taking my time so you guys don't feel rushed. So, Melissa, when you're done with chopping those onions, you're just going to toss them into your bean mixture, okay? And then did you join after the fact that I asked you to preheat the oven for the tofu?
I did not preheat the oven.
Okay, so go ahead and turn on the oven to 350.
50, okay.
Yep, and then if you have your tofu chopped, do you have it kind of cut up or not?
I do not.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that because we need that to bake for about 20 minutes. So we'll come back to the beans. So right now I want you to go ahead and get your tofu in little cubes. I'm going to open my oven and show you really quickly. So I have them on a sheet pan and they look like this. So you're going to cube your tofu, put them on a sheet pan, and throw them in the oven at 350.
Okay.
And to be honest, just once you get them cut up and cubed, put them on a sheet pan and just go ahead and throw them in the oven. It doesn't have to be preheated all the way to 350. It's fine.
For 20 minutes, you say?
For 20 minutes, yeah. Set the timer so that you don't forget about them.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna keep talking, but you let me know if you need to stop. I'm just gonna walk everyone else through who's not on what we're gonna be doing, what else we're gonna be adding. So once you get your green onions cut up, finely chopped, you're gonna add in the juice of 1 lime and then the zest of 1 lime. So if you have a microplane guy here, you can just zest away. I'm just going to add some really good flavor. All right, so lime zest and lime juice is added. And then I'm going to walk you through the spices that we're going to add. It's going to be so good. It already looks and smells so flavorful, and we haven't even added everything else in there. It's going to be great. Okay, so lime juice. All right, 1 teaspoon. There it is. Here it is. Of cumin. So ground cumin, 1 teaspoon. If you want to measure, great. If not, just eyeball it. Just what I'll be doing.
Kimmie, yeah, I've noticed that cumin, or however you say it, even putting a little bit too much becomes, even what the recipe requires, it's almost too much for me. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, some people are really sensitive. It also depends on the type of cumin you get. Is it ground? Is it roasted? Is it like different brands taste differently? A lot of people are sensitive to it. I love it, so if I add too much, it's fine, but it doesn't bother me. But it is one of those things that can ruin a dish if you go too much.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, and you know your preference, right? If you don't prefer it or if you don't really love it, then just use a teeny bit. Always maybe do half of what the recipe calls for.
Thank you.
All right, garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Make sure this is not garlic salt, guys. Garlic powder. That would be a super salty mess. Okay, now we're gonna go 1/4 of a cup or 4 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. Again, this is gonna be the binder, and it is just filled with all sorts of goodness, good fats and protein. Oh, and fiber, sorry. Fiber this is a surefire way to get lots of extra fiber in your diet. So these are gonna be some nutritious black bean burgers. All right, so yeah, 1/4 of a cup. Done, add it in there. Handful of cilantro, chopped. I love cilantro, so I'm gonna add a lot. And you can also cut up the stems and add those in there as well. But and again, if you hate cilantro, leave it out. This is optional, but it's really good if you're asking me. And this is just finely, roughly chop this as well. Again, stems are okay, but you might want to get those finely chopped also. You don't want a big stem in your mouth biting in a burger, right? I don't. I know my kids would be like, that would like be a deal breaker for them. Okay, so add this in there. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. If you like red pepper chili flakes, you're gonna add that in there now, but again, I don't like the extra heat, and there's so much flavor in this already that I'm just going to leave it out. All right, mine is looking like this kind of consistency. So I'm gonna add, it says 2 tablespoons of oil and it says it's optional. I'm gonna go ahead and add it in because I think I need a little bit more moisture. So I have some avocado oil and I'm gonna start with a tablespoon and see how that looks, okay? Boop, 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 boop. Looks good to me. So we're gonna be prepping these burgers, and if you want to cook them, you absolutely can. Or you can prep them and make them into the little patties and cook these at another time. All right, I'll just put mine here. So I'm gonna make mine, and I'm gonna go ahead and I probably will cook mine and have them going while we work on our lentil soup, okay? But we're gonna get the burgers chopped. The lettuce wraps, obviously, we'll just keep in the fridge, and you will just, when you're ready to eat the burgers, you're just gonna wrap them in 1 or 2 little lettuce wraps. You can use butter lettuce or romaine. I like to use romaine. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure, I'm gonna use my hand, it's gonna get really messy. I'm gonna make a big ball and just make sure it's all combined. I'm gonna kind of fold it over and just make sure everything kind of gets nice and mixed in, okay? An easy way to make sure that you have even burger size patties is to make one big ball. You get out a sheet, a pan or a cutting board and just kind of press it down like this and make sure it's square and even, and then just cut it in half and then cut it in half again, and there everything's even. They'll cook evenly, right? And then you're just gonna form the patties like this, okay? So you know how sometimes you just like guess it and your hand kind of just grab a little bit out of the mixture and you're like, I think that's about right. This helps and keeps everything cooked so it'll cook nice and evenly. All right, so I've got my patties made. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up my skillet, because I'm going to cook these in the skillet. You also could do it in the air fryer. You could put them, in the oven, like whatever. But I think these would be the most delicious, probably in the air fryer or the skillet. So I'm going to cook mine in the skillet. Let's put a little about maybe. This is only if you're cooking these and want these to eat these today. If not, I would recommend wrapping them up and putting them in a container and cooking them the night of that you're going to be eating this meal. Okay. So we are going to be also cooking the lentil stew, just for FYI. So that'll be cooked today. So if you don't want to have the burgers, put them in like a storage container and put them in the refrigerator. All right, Debbie, do you have a question? You're good. Okay.
Yes, I have a question. For the
Yes.
green onions, do you cut the white and this green part?
Yeah.
The,
So I cut
The entire one?
So I cut about half of I use a little bit of the light green part. I don't go down into the white. So it's a lot of the like dark green and then to the mid range, and that's the part I use.
Okay, so you do use most of the dark green as well?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, the white's going to be super, you would have to like saute that. That's going to be very, very, very strong unless you cook it down, and it's fine. So we're going to use, okay, so I'm going to get my skillet going. I'm going to get that heated up, a little bit of olive oil. And then I want you to pull out your sweet potatoes. And Melissa, do you have your sweet potatoes cut up?
My tomatoes?
Your sweet potatoes.
Yes, it's all cut up.
Oh, good. Okay. So we're just going to roast those. And if you want to cook them now, you can. If you want to cook them at a later point, you can as well. So if you want to cook your sweet potatoes, I just have cut little like medallions, and I'm going to spray it with some olive oil or avocado oil, and then just put some salt and pepper on them. So I'll coat both sides, salt and pepper, and then pop them in the oven. Okay.
At what temperature?
400.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll just set those to the side, and those can be done whenever. Okay. All right. So my skillet is getting hot, and I'm going to go ahead and add the black bean burgers. Oh, it does say you could bake them for 25 minutes, and then you can flip them halfway through if you would like to bake them. You know, that also might be a good and an easy way to just cook the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, and the black bean burgers at once, but I'm going to do mine in the skillet, okay? And it says 7 minutes each side. That's what I'm going for. So I'll need to set my timer. Melissa, are you going to cook your burgers now or later?
Yeah, I'm gonna cook this. I'm doing the black beans and sweet potatoes for my supper.
You're going to do them now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to set my timer on my watch. Hey Siri, set timer for 7 minutes.
7 minutes, starting now.
Okay, all right, so I'll just leave that cooking. And now we're gonna move on to our lentil soup. And I'm gonna make mine in the Instant Pot, was just right here. So I'm gonna kind of move so you guys can watch and see. So you're gonna turn, if you're gonna, Melissa, stop me if you need to.
I think for the lentil soup, I'm just gonna watch it after.
Okay,
Too slow.
that's okay, that's all right. All right, so if you're using a regular pot on the stove, you're gonna add a little bit, and this is basically like the same thing as using a pot on the stove. Gonna hit the saute button.
Oh, Kimmie, what kind of oil is that? And you didn't use very much. Could you explain that?
Oh yeah, so this is extra virgin olive oil, and I used about 1/4 of a cup. There's a good amount of oil in here.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it calls for about 1/4 of a cup, and you know me, I kind of eyeball everything. So I just want to make sure the whole bottom is kind of coated. And you're going to use, you need your onion and your carrots that are diced. You need those ready to go. We're also going to need your garlic cloves. We need 4 garlic cloves. We need a bunch of spices, cumin, curry powder, thyme, diced tomatoes. You need your lentils, of course, 4 cups of vegetable broth, 2 cups of water, salt and pepper, and also the very last, your kale goes in. So if you're using kale or if you're using chard, I think you could use kale, chard, collard greens, whatever kind of greens. I think on the grocery list, I think I put, yes, like Swiss chard, rainbow chard, whatever. All right. Okay, so this is warm. I'm gonna go ahead and add my veggies in and just let those cook for a while. Let me get something
to. Kimmie, this is an Instapot, right? That you're working with?
Yes.
Okay, and so you're just using it like a saucepan now?
Yes. It's
Okay, thank you.
I use it almost always to do all of my soups and stews and things.
Okay,
It's just
thank
so
you.
easy because a lot of times my family's eating at different times and I can make it really quickly and then it will stay warm and it's just easy for the kids to kind of open up and get out their food as they need it. All right, so I'm just gonna let that cook for a second. And I'll get organized with all my spices. So I'm gonna, oh, and also I need garlic. But I'm just gonna let these veggies go for a while before I add the garlic in. All right, so I need my ground cumin, which is here. I need my curry powder and dried thyme, which is here. Tomatoes and lentils, got everything else, salt and pepper. Okay, you're just gonna let that cook down for a while. So Bronwyn, whenever you make soups, you're just making them in on a pot on the stove?
I never make soups,
Oh,
so
you make soups. Oh,
I need to
you do.
for easy bulk cooking.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm gonna check on the veggie burgers.
For breakfast, Bronwyn.
What do I cook for breakfast? Did you say,
No,
Debbie?
you can use soup for breakfast.
I use it whatever I'm making, like Indian turkey meatballs, which I've done recently with that good for you simmer sauce. Oh my God! If I make something, then that's what I'm eating for nine meals. I mean, it's not ideal, but
No, it is ideal. If it works, it works.
it works for me. Yeah, and it means I'm eating well in the morning and all day.
Right.
And I'll have more time now that I'm, quitting this job. I'm looking for another, but the pressure of trying to cook during this past year with this job, later job, I'm back full 30 and
Sometimes the best way to take care of yourself is to get rid of the stress of your lifestyle.
beautiful. Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, we all like to talk about nutrition and exercise, but if your life is super,
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Yep. All right, so I just added in the garlic and I'm gonna give it a stir, let that cook down. Now I'm gonna add the spices in. So it says 4 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons, which I probably need to add more, 2 teaspoons of cumin. And then you're gonna do 1 teaspoon of curry powder. So again, here, Bronwyn, I would probably not go, I would do like 1 teaspoon.
Okay, thanks.
I do love curry powder. One teaspoon of curry powder. And then 1/2 teaspoon of your thyme. Okay, and then you're gonna add in, give that a good stir. Add in the diced tomatoes. It says to drain your diced tomatoes. And it calls for a 28-ounce can. It said to lightly drain them. All right, if you want, okay, let's go ahead and get that stirred. Now we're gonna pour in the lentils, 1 cup of lentils. Your broth, which is 4 cups of vegetable broth, and 2 cups of water. All right, and if you are using, or if you have your, oh, 7 minutes is done. I went ahead and turned off my black bean burgers anyways. I was afraid they'd burn over there. And make sure, you know, I said 7 minutes. You might want to check on those burgers. A stove might cook faster. Never want to be at risk for burning some precious food. Okay, so give that a stir once you've got everything in. You're going to add your salt and pepper now, just to taste. 1 teaspoon at least of salt and freshly ground pepper if you have it. All right, and then you're going to add in some red pepper flakes if you want some extra heat. And then you're just going to continue to get this to boil. So if you're on the stove, you're going to get it going and let it come to a boil, maybe like medium to high heat. And then since mine's in the Instant Pot, I'm going to close it, and I'm probably going to put it on, let's see here, probably about 4 minutes or so. See how that looks or how that works. All right, pressure.
Kimmie, can you just explain, since Instapot is the next thing I need to master and I can't wait for it, but like, what do I saw that you heated everything, mixed it up and put in the spices.
So
and
I
then,
used the saute function for that.
okay,
And then I canceled it, so it's not sauteing, it's not warm on the bottom anymore. I added the pressure cook, and
Okay.
I did the pressure cook, and I'm just gonna gauge it maybe like 4 minutes or so. And then the pressure will build. I'm closing the vent, so all the pressure will be building in here. And it'll come to pressure, it'll cook for 4 minutes, and then I'll release all the pressure, and then it should be done.
is it possible to scald your finger when you release the pressure, or?
Yes, it is. So you have to be very careful.
Okay.
And you don't want it underneath your cabinets either. You have to kind of make sure that you're pointing the steam away.
Okay.
From everything. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is good to go, and you're just gonna watch your soup on the stove. At the very end, you're gonna add in your greens, and then maybe let it cook for over a little bit more, and then add in your lemon juice, so like a tablespoon or so of lemon juice, just to taste, okay? And then that is done, and it's really delicious. Like I said, you also have the option to make it thicker if you wanted to add the immersion blender and kind of blend like half of the soup up. Just has like a thicker consistency that way, or you could just leave it as it is. All right.
Robin just entered, just so you know, since I forgot to tell you, Melissa did.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Robin just entered?
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so Robin, we have made our chia seed pudding. We went ahead and we've done our black bean burgers and sweet potato fries and just finished up our lentil soup. So we're about to start our anytime hash with Italian tempeh. And then we're going to do our almond butter tofu stir fry, okay? So for the anytime hash with the Italian tempeh, let's go ahead and get all the ingredients out for that, okay? And if you need me to slow down.
And I'm still doing the black bean burgers.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I just let mine sit because I knew I would be distracted. So mine's just sitting back there, and I'll finish it off later. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through the ingredients that you need and how we're gonna make this dish right here. Now, if you are cooking this today, great. If not, we can just prep it and you can cook it at a later time, all right? So what I want you to make sure you have is just all the ingredients out that you need and everything kind of ready to go. So we'll start by making the marinade for the actual tempeh, okay? So you're going to get all the ingredients out for that. And I went ahead and pre-made it, but I'm gonna walk you through exactly what you put in it, okay? So we're going to get our extra virgin olive oil, or avocado oil will work as well. You need 2 tablespoons of either balsamic vinegar or red wine vinegar. You need a tablespoon of dried Italian seasoning, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, 1 clove of garlic, and half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Okay, so those are the ingredients that you're going to need for the marinade. Okay, the recipe calls for you to steam the tempeh. I just don't think that's like 100% necessary, and I'm all about cutting corners and just, you know, doing things, you know, that'll save time and being super efficient. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and skip that step and cut my tempeh into, I'm going to cut it lengthwise, long ways, and then I'm going to cut it in little cubes. All right, my tofu is also ready, so I'm going to take that out. So we baked our tofu, guys, for those of you who joined later. All right, so we've got little cubes here, and then I'm going to throw it and marinate it in this bowl. Just make sure everything kind of gets covered. If you want to make this now, go for it. We're going to let this sit for a while, and then we're just going to pan fry it on the stove. I'm just going to make sure. Oh, you guys, sorry, you can't see me. But I'm just using a spoon and making sure all of this gets covered. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna sit that to the side and just let it kind of absorb and soak a lot of that marinade up, okay? All right, now we're going to move on to the hash, which is basically just like we're gonna be putting a bunch of vegetables, and I think the easiest way to do this is in a big wok, or if you don't have it, just a big, you know, something you can saute, like a big pan on the stove. So what the ingredients that we need for this, I'm going to walk you through it. Does anybody need me to slow down or take a pause or have any questions before I move on?
I'm not cooking, so I don't need you to slow down, but question. I was watching a cooking show with somebody making hash. How do you get a potato into those little pieces?
Well,
Can you tell I'm a new cook?
you can grate them, but this is a loose term like hash. It calls for potatoes.
Okay.
Like fingerling potatoes, it just says cut them in half in little 1/2-inch pieces. So I cut my potatoes really small in little 1/2-inch pieces.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to get 2 tablespoons of oil and put whatever pan you're gonna use, medium-high heat. You're gonna need your potatoes chopped, your carrots, 1 cup of carrots chopped, and a medium shallot chopped. Okay, that's what you're gonna start with. And I'm gonna get the skillet nice and hot before I add all of the ingredients in. Once those ingredients are in, I'm gonna season them with zest of 1 lemon, salt, pepper, and paprika. So you might want to get your salt, pepper, and find your paprika out. So let's see, put those to the side. And I'm gonna go ahead and work on, while that pan heats up, I'm gonna go ahead and work on zesting this lemon. Does anybody have their lemon already zested? You just need a teaspoon of lemon zest. And that's about good. Okay. All right. Now I've got my carrots, my shallot, and my potatoes already cut up in a bowl. And I'm going to go ahead and toss those into the skillet back here. And let those cook down. These are going to cook for a while. All right. You just want to make sure the oil gets all over the veggies. And you want to cook these definitely over a medium heat, not anything too high, especially if you're because the potatoes and the carrots are pretty dense. So they're gonna, I think, lower heat and a little bit slower is kind of how I would do it. All right, so let those go, and let's go ahead and add in all our seasoning. So salt and pepper and lemon zest and paprika can go in right now. And it's let's say a half a teaspoon of paprika. All right, so go ahead and add that into your hash. Paprika is just going to kind of give it that nice smokiness. And salt. And lemon zest. I'm going to take you over and I'll show you what mine looks like. I'll let you travel over here with me. All right, can you see?
Yep.
I mean, how big was your tempeh when it's a bite-sized pieces? Same as your potato cubes?
Yeah, that's the cube potatoes. Yeah.
So
So
for the
this is-
tempeh, was it the same size?
So the tempeh, I left marinating in the dressing, and it's in a bowl, and it's a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit, you can tell the difference. The
Yeah.
potatoes are smaller, you know, but it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't be too particular about your size. I tried to cut the carrots and the potatoes kind of similar.
And you put it in a bowl, so I don't have to put it in the plastic bag. They said I can use a container.
You can use a container, yeah, or whatever you want. Yep, mine was just in this little bowl, so I'm just going to leave it here. And letting this cook down. I'm just going to leave it. I have a tendency to always want to stir, but I need to let it cook, so I'm just going to let it sit there for a second. It says to cook it for about 10 minutes. So I'm kind of going to leave it here. Is anybody doing this with me, or are you following along, or where does anybody need any help? You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask. All right, I'm just going to let that sit, guys. So this is how after about, let's say about 7 more minutes or so, we're going to add the spinach. We're going to let it wilt down. And then we are going to add in the tempeh and just and it'll just all come together, okay? But you definitely want this. I forgot to tell you, you need your spinach out. And it doesn't have to be chopped or anything, just right out of the container. You're gonna, about 2 cups or 2 big handfuls. If you like spinach, add in extra. If you don't like it, you can leave it out also. All right, I'm really gonna leave it alone this time. Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna sit. I'm gonna bring you back over here with me. So now we're gonna talk about our last dish while that's going on. We're almost done. We're gonna talk about our almond butter tofu. stir fry. Okay, so earlier we baked our tofu, and now it's nice and crispy, which is yummy. Okay, so you can kind of like bring it here. All right. Let's talk about our sauce. So it comes with an almond butter sauce. So let's go ahead and get out all the ingredients for the almond butter sauce. It's like a marinade. You're gonna need sesame oil or avocado oil or olive oil. It doesn't matter really which one. You need 4 tablespoons of tamari, which instead of soy sauce, right? Maple syrup, I said leave out because we're doing the Whole30. Almond butter, lime juice, and if you have chili garlic sauce, or if you want to use red chilies or like red pepper flakes, that would add some great heat to the sauce. And I added just a little bit of red pepper flakes. Okay, all right, so sesame oil, 2 tablespoons. 4 tablespoons of your tamari sauce, which is like a alternate to a soy sauce. 2 tablespoons of almond butter. 2 tablespoons of lime juice. And if you want to add any heat, you would add some red pepper flakes, okay? All right, so now we're gonna add back the tofu into a bowl that's nice and crispy. All right, and then we're gonna drizzle the sauce over the tofu. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of the sauce in my bowl because I'm gonna drizzle that over the vegetables later. Okay, and I'm just gonna make sure that the tofu is completely covered in this yummy sauce. Okay. And I'm gonna put it on another skillet, using all my skillets today. Just gonna put a little bit lightly greased. This is a non-stick pan, but I'm still gonna put a little bit of oil in the skillet. And I'm gonna get it hot. Got the hash going. Okay, my hash looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and add in my 2 cups of spinach. And then you're gonna just put on a lid and let that wilt down. I'll probably turn my temperature down a little bit. And set it out and forget it. All right, so tofu is in the marinade. And now we're gonna talk about what's gonna go with our tofu. So the directions have green beans and diced red peppers. And it says to cook them on the skillet, but I actually prefer to slice the red peppers and the green beans and roast them with a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper. And after they're done roasting, you're gonna add the rest of the sauce to your vegetables as well. And you're gonna serve this over some cauliflower rice. All right, so I'm gonna take you back over here. And our pan is getting nice and hot. All right, here's my tofu. All right, and then we're just gonna add it in here. Oh, yum. Who would have thought tofu smells so good and looks so good? All right, can you guys see that? It's sizzling. I'm just gonna cook it for a couple minutes on each side, so make sure everything's kind of like flat. So I'll cook it on one side and then flip all of the little guys over, and I'll cook it on the other side.
Kimmie and Debbie, I've got to leave now because I work at top of the hour. But Kimmie, I hope there are more of these classes coming. I got so much from today's, just all kinds of stuff. I know I'll have future questions, so please have more of these classes.
I will. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye. All right. So we're going to leave the tofu to cook just a couple minutes on each side, and you want to make sure they get nice and crispy and they'll kind of caramelize a little bit. You don't want them to burn, so make sure you're kind of watching a close eye on them. And then I just use my fingers, or you could use a spatula as well. All right, I think somebody asked in the chat, what's good? Can I go? Okay, Robin. All right, so we're just gonna let this cook. Oh, mine's cooking really good now. Okay, so you're gonna let this cook, and then you should have all your veggies ready to go. You could roast those in the oven if your oven's still heated up. Make sure they'll burn super quick, so you gotta flip them. I'm just gonna remove mine from the heat, and I'll show you what it looks like. So it's nice and crispy. It's good. And done. All right, Debbie. So if you have all of your vegetables for the green beans and the red peppers prepped, like I do, you can put them on a little sheet like this, guys. Roast them in the oven just until they're done, probably about 15-20 minutes, and then they'll be completely ready to go with your tofu dish. Don't forget to add the extra sauce that you have over your vegetables and your cauliflower rice. It kind of pulls everything together. Or if you don't have any extra sauce, you could add some extra tamari seasoning to kind of pull all the ingredients and all the flavors together, okay? Any questions?
Look at that. 4:57. You're like a machine.
Oh, is it? Yeah, we are. I know. I've got it down to a science, Debbie. But yeah, so the lentil soup should be ready. Soup should be ready. And all you have to do is remember you're going to put greens in the soup and a little bit of fresh lemon juice. And then that's it. And everything should be done.
Yay.
Or at least prepped.
Liza, Melissa, how are you feeling about things? A little overwhelmed.
It looks delicious.
Melissa's knee deep in lentils.
Melissa is still at her black bean burgers.
That's okay.
I had everything ready for the lentil soup, so that'll take me 5 minutes to put together, but
Yeah.
I want to get the black bean burgers done because they keep falling apart when I've tried them in the past. So I kept coming back to you, so my burgers have been sitting on the counter until I get back to the frying pan.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, take your time. I just want to make sure we got through everything.
Kimmie, can you send me the email again, just so it's top of mind, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
So I can do that. But yeah, so the first time I did this, I was like, holy mother of God, what just happened? And then on Tuesday, I was like, husband's like, what's for dinner? I'm like, well, you could have this, or you could have this, or you could have this. And it was such a nice feeling because I had all this stuff prepped that was going to take, 5 minutes. So it was great.
Yeah, it definitely helps too. And I had noted on the grocery list, if you have everything, like do a couple steps ahead of time, like cut the vegetables up, have all your spices out, have everything washed and ready to go. It definitely helps move things along, and I can kind of guide you a little bit faster than you'd normally do it by yourself, probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do give us a report, Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Let us know how it went. And Kimmie, thank you as always.
All right. Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kimmie.
All right. See you. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.